Let's go to the main page. In this case, we want to display a list of the posts that have been published. That is, if we click on all posts, which would also be the index, a bunch of cards with the different posts we have available should appear here. How does this work in Astro? Well, at build time, we read all the posts and generate the listing page. The final result is a static HTML that is served to the client with the list of posts. For that, we're going to create a folder called Post, where we'll define the model and API to fetch the list. We go to Pages, New Folder, Post, and here we're going to create a file called postmodel.is. And what are we going to have? Well, an entity that we're going to call single post. And here we're going to include the fields. The fields, where do I get them from? So I go to Content in my project, to Model, and here in Post you can see all the fields that are there. I'm going to copy and paste the fields. And here we have an identifier, a post title, the date, the post summary, the author, the content, the markdown, and the image with its name and its link. Now let's move on to the API. To fetch the list of posts, instead of using the helper method getContent, which comes with the Content Island client library, we're going to use getContentList, to which we pass a content type, and it returns all instances that have that content. So let's go here. We create a file, we call it post.api.ts, and we get to work. First, this function that we have here is called getPost. It's asynchronous and returns a promise with an array of posts. Single post, which we just created here, all right? Let's try to import it. Good. Next step. So I come here and say, I'm going to have a response when I call client getContentList. In the first param where we have curly braces, we need to put something. Let's import client and see if it helps. Here we have client. It's the instance we created earlier, where we passed the Content Island token to be able to access the data we have in Content Island, and in getContentList requires something from us. I have to specify the content type. What content type is it? Well, let's go to Content Island. Let's go over here. If we go to model, look, we have a content type called about and one called post. So let's take post, copy it, paste it, or if you prefer, go to content. We choose any post, and in model I copy it. And I tell it that I want to fetch all the posts. And now I just go to post and say, okay, so the response you give me, which is a list, do a map and iterate over all the content. And for each post, we're going to do a map content to model. A single post from the content. Let's remove one more little dot here. This is very similar to what we did with the About page, but in this case, we're working with a list. And with this, we return the posts. Now it's ready. Now we need to see if it works and if we're getting data. We open the main page. Here, I'm going to click on all posts. Now I'm here with Hello Blog. And the first thing we're going to do is read the list of posts. And I'm also going to add a small function to format the date. That small function, ideally it should go into a utilities or common folder, or we could use a library to format dates. But for simplicity, we'll just put it here. So what I'm going to do right now is make a call in the API. I have getPost, so I call it here. I use await and get the posts. Let's see if the import works. Looks like it's not able to import it. Add import.postPost API. Yes, looks like it's correct. GetPost here, perfect. And next step, here we have my simple function to provide me a date formatted. And we continue. Now I want to display the data without styling. How could I do that? Well, let's go ahead and add a UL. And inside the UL, we're going to put now, hey, from the posts, that list of posts I pulled from up here, then do a map, and for each post, we're going to output a piece of HTML here, okay? Let's see. We're going to add an LE, and let's put, for example, an H2 with the post title. This is very important because it will help us see if we're connecting to the API properly. Oh yeah, we're connecting to the API properly. Awesome. Can we add anything else? Well, yes, if we want to, then for example, the post summary. That could be a good idea. And if we want, we can also add the post author. Is this being shown? Yes, I think so, right? Yes, it's showing up here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to include all the fields we're going to use so we can see that everything is properly connected. But, well, since this is just a little example, we have something. Let's try to style it nicely. The good news is that it shows up. The bad news is that it looks really ugly. So let's add some styles at the end of this page, this .astro file. These styles I'm going to paste. You can copy them from the Get Started guide. All the examples are on GitHub. I'm coming over here, and here are the styles. Let's take a quick look. Here you have a style for the header, for the list, for each post, for the image, the text, the title. It uses the variables we've defined in global CSS. Well, it looks good. Now let's replace the HTML content. Let's go over here. You know what? To keep things simple, I'm going to delete all of this and we'll make the page in a nice clean way. We already know the data loads, so now I can add a container. I'll put a section here in the layout and I'll close this section here. Next step, let's add a small header. That is, I wanted to say, hey, I'm the blog of so-and-so, and here are all the published posts. So with this div post header, query oversold post, they show up here. Not bad. Next step, let's add the list of posts. The UL we had before, we'll place it here. Sorry, it was sticking out a bit here. The UL is ready. And now we need to insert the map we had earlier inside here. So we say, hey, from all the posts, we'll need to use curly braces to indicate that this goes here. JavaScript, post.map, post. And here we're going to have something. What are we going to have? Well, a card with all the nice little things. That is, we're going to insert an lie. And inside the lie, an article telling it that here we come and we have a post, the class post, and inside we begin. So I want to have an anchor that contains an image inside. Careful. For this image here, we're going to use an Astro image component. I'm scrolling up because we got an error here. And I bring it over. All right, here we have all the images. Wow, how beautiful, right? And since we're at it, let's now add the text part. I'm going to copy and paste. And here you'll be able to see the post title and the description. So after this anchor, I come here. I'm going to shrink everything down and we'll take a calmer look at this. Here we have the anchor with the image so we can navigate. And here we have the text with the header and its style. The entire styling part. Here we also have the little photo. And here we also have the title. It has a link in case we click to navigate. And since we're here, the summary of each post. And well, hey, it turned out pretty cool, right? If we make it bigger, in fact, it looks like this. Not bad at all. Shall we go for the page that shows a single post now? All right, let's get to it.